Hey, Trojan family, what's going on? Welcome back to the USC LAFB show here on the LAFB network. I'm your host, Ryan Dyrud. Let's take a brief break from coaching talk. Obviously, we kind of have a brief break. We know Gary Patterson's going to be the DC. We know Mike Eckler coming in as linebacker coach and special teams coordinator and assistant head coach. We know Rob Ryan is going to kind of step back a bit and become an analyst, which I think is a great move. Still keeping him in the building and his prowess, but also having Mike Eckler kind of take a little bit more control of the linebacking room. We know Doug Belk is gone, unfortunately. We know, by all indications, Trevon Reed is absolutely staying and is on the hunt, out on the recruiting trail, taking his guys all around town, showing out, and I think that room is going to be very well taken care of. We know Coach Sean Nua met with Coach Riley and Chad Bowden yesterday. Reportedly, the meeting went very well. I don't know exactly what that means, but I would indicate to me that they laid out the future plans for him and the staff, and he is a part of those plans. As of now, Henny is still very much involved. Really, the only way he would leave is if an NFL team comes calling over the next couple weeks, which we'll keep monitoring and let you know on that. But I think the dust is beginning to settle on that. But that's like the really quick roundup on everything that's going on in that regard. So we're going to take a little pause on some coaching talk. We've done so much. I've got a recruiting video coming out later today. Be on the lookout for that. But right now, On3 just put out, ironically enough, they actually deleted the tweet and graphic, and I couldn't find the actual article on their website. So maybe they're making some edits, some changes that they missed. But these are based on their actual rankings that you can find right on On3's website. So they just had come out with an article written by Clark Brooks ranking the way too early top 100 players going into 2026. So again, the article as of this recording, I don't seem to find it anymore. The tweet was deleted, but these are based on their full 300 player rankings. So it's, it's all there anyway. So I figured it'd be good to talk about it. So they come out, only one USC Trojan are in their top 100 rankings, and that is Jaden Maiava. So let's start with him. He comes in at number 27, which to me is egregiously low. Almost disrespectful, if you will. He comes in as the, let's see here, 6th ranked quarterback. They have Dante Moore, the top ranked QB, Sam Levitt, Julian Sayin, Arch Manning, Lenoris Sellers, and then Jaden Maiava, 6th. This is a quarterback that led all of college football in QBR, which is a fairly telling metric, not the end-all be-all. He was up there, tops in yards, a lot of other metrics. I think he showed that he could play. Now, even with USC fans, I think there is kind of a split perception of Jaden Maiava. I've had many in the comments shouting at me, "He has not developed. What are you talking about? All he does is throw jump balls, go balls." There are certainly been instances where he has leaned on some of the elite receiver talent that he had last season and threw some go balls, some 50-50 balls, 100%. There are also coaching metrics. Talk to a lot of quarterbacks out there. Talk to coaches out there. Think of like Randall Cunningham, Dante Culpepper when they played with Randy Moss and others. When you have a certain skill set receiver, there are certain plays when it's like, hey, if it's this down and distance, if it's this situation, or if like I just get into a bind, I need to know where X player is. In this instance would be Jacoby Lane, and I'm just going to throw it up. 9 times out of 10, it's going to either be a catch or a PI, typically. So I think it was insinuated that that's all he did. Like there were definitely, it happened. That's a fact. There were certainly maybe more than other quarterbacks, but you also had a receiver like Jacoby Lane. You could lean on that. Like he wasn't doing that with Mekhi Lemon, right? Like most of the Jaden Maiava to Mekhi Lemon connection was much more, route driven, putting the ball in the correct space. They weren't just jump balls. Like I'm sure if I look back over all the film of every game, maybe there was a couple, But overall, it was not. It was much more precise with him. Jacoby Lane's a certain type of receiver. Hey, if I'm in a bind, go get it. So I think that was overblown. It happened, but I think it's overblown. I think Jaden Maiava did show development throughout the season. Now, there were some times when he would regress to the mean in certain games or certain weeks or certain drives, but then there was a lot of drives where we'd see him overcome that. You can even think back to just the TCU game. Obviously, horrible ending to that game. But after that interception, I thought he overcame some later in the game. You can think of the Illinois game, how he finished down the stretch. The Oregon game, I thought, played better after some critical mistakes. So I think Jaden Maiava still has a lot to prove. I think he still has a lot of improvement that he can make. But I think he certainly is one of the top QBs going into this season. And that's not just because of the system, not just because of Lincoln Riley. I think he really has shown a really good skill set, really talented arm, great size. Now, if they can get him to use his legs more, whether that's on Lincoln Riley or on himself, I think that just makes him even more of a threat. So I'm really high on the prospects of Jaden Maiava. I know that's mixed with the fans, especially because of how it went down now with Husan Longstreet transferring out. But I think this is a guy that can really I think he made a jump, was a very good quarterback last year. Not great, very good. I think he can be great next year, especially another year in the system, especially getting on, I know he is losing two of their premier receivers, but now he'll have all offseason to work with this new batch, not 4 weeks like the bowl game, and really get on the same page with all these new upcoming receivers. So I think 27 is egregiously low for Jaden Maiava, 6th ranked quarterback. I think that's way too low. In terms of only one USC Trojan in the top 100, there's kind of two ways to look at that. Well, let's look at the other Big Ten teams. We'll just look at Big Ten teams represented. So in the top 100, you have Ohio State with 5 players, Oregon with 6, Indiana with 9, Michigan with 3, Iowa with 2, Minnesota with 2, and Nebraska with 1. So Iowa and Minnesota have more players ranked in the top 100 than USC. Now, again, this is an On3 ranking. So, as Nick Saban said, coaches are not caring about some recruiting services rankings, but it does tell you a little bit. This is still a league, a player-driven league, like all of sports. Coaching is so important. You have to have good coaching, but the players are who win the games. And having only one player ranked in the top 100, they have 7 total players ranked in the top 300. It's really hard to win at a high level if the talent discrepancy is that drastic. 7 players total in the top 300, 1 in the top 100, and it's your returning quarterback. So there's 2 ways to look at this. Let's first start with the negative. Everyone likes to call me a sunshine pumper. Let's start with the negative, right? Hey, what's going on, LAFB family? Before we get to the show, got to tell you about my friends over at Sleeper. The number 1 sports app right now, and not just for season-long fantasy. They have daily game updates. They have a live chat that you can chat with other users. Plus, my favorite part is the daily fantasy feature, which is similar to a pick'em. You just choose 2 or more players across any sport. Choose more or less in whatever sport that may be. So if it's football, more or less touchdowns. For Jaden Maiava, if it's Mekhi Lemon, more or less receptions. If you're looking at the Dodgers, more or less home runs for Shohei Ohtani. Really easy, and you can win real money. Right now, when you go and make your first deposit, make sure you use our promo code. You see it right there on the screen, USC LAFB. That's going to give you a matched deposit bonus up to $100. You put in $100 to play with, you're going to get $100 free on top of that. You can put in 10, you get 10 free. Also, right now, our friends are offering a $20 free entry for any new signups. If you go sign up today, you'll get both those offers. You get $20 right off the bat free to play with. Plus, use that promo code USCLAFB at sign up and you'll get that match bonus as well. Go to the App Store, Google Play, download the Sleeper app today, and tell them that the USC LAFB sent you. Now, let's get on to the show. This staff, based on this ranking, has done a poor job in setting this team up for success in terms of the amount of talent on the team. That, again, this is just based on this one ranking, but it's a little telling that they don't have any carryover from now going into year 5 of more than one player that is thought to be a top 100 player. When you are a blue blood, pristine, tradition-heavy program like USC. You don't need to have 20, but you should certainly have more than Iowa and Minnesota. And Minnesota lost one in Coy Perch. You should at least be on par with Michigan with 3. You know, Indiana just won. Obviously, they got a bunch of new transfers as well. So 9 is pretty crazy because they're losing a bunch of dudes, but they got a bunch of good dudes in the portal. Oregon, like you should match Oregon with 6. So when you look at talent acquisition and talent retention and talent development, there has been a bit of a, let's call it, it has not been carried out as well as it should. Whether that's been an issue with actual development, like getting good recruits and transfers and not being able to develop them to maintain what they were when they were recruited, what they were thought to be when they were recruited, whether that's been because of turnover, some coaching turnover, obviously now on their 3rd defensive coordinator in the Lincoln Riley era, some different coaches coming and going, whether that's just been retention issues and losing some key players in the portal, which I don't think they've lost too many, in my opinion. You look at going in the next year, the only player still left that they've lost that is a top 100 player, I think, is Bear Alexander. No one else they lost is in this top 100. So I don't think that's been the issue. But there's clearly been a bit of a performance issue or development issue in the players they have based on the perception of these ranking services. Now let's look at the other side. I'll go back to my positive spin here, right? I think also these rankings are just sleeping on a lot of really good talented players. Here's the other 6 in the top 300. So Jontez Williams, the transfer corner, is at 108. King Miller, they have at 153. Jadea Basiri at 219. Killian O'Connor at 276. Terrell Anderson, the transfer wide receiver from NC State, at 281. And Tanook Hines, great receiver, at 282. So these tell me I'm not going to trust these rankings very much. Love King Miller, but you don't have Wayman Jordan. I mean, I know he played limited amount since getting injured, but I think Wayman Jordan showed he's probably one of the top backs in the Big Ten. Love King Miller, but Wayman Jordan is RB1, so I don't even have him in the top 300. Love Jadea Basiri, love his growth, but no Jakeem Stewart, freshman All-American. Played with a broken foot, still a freshman All-American. Going to be an absolute dominant potential Big Ten defensive player of the year, in my opinion. Not in the top 300. Killian O'Connor. Love Killian O'Connor. No Elijah Page. I get health comes into this, but they have other guys that are injured. Evan Stewart, Oregon receiver, didn't play a snap. They have him in the top 150. Elijah Page is going to be a potential day 1 tackle if he stays healthy all next year. They don't have him included. Tanook Hines all the way at 282. I get he was wide receiver 3 behind 2 of the best receivers in the country. But I think we've seen how good he can be and he will be arguably wide receiver 1 for an elite offense. So he is way low. So the other spin of this is, well, these rankings, I'm not going to say they're biased, but you're ranking thousands of players. And this just tells you that it's very hard to do. It is very challenging to accurately rank thousands of players when you have minimal staff able to watch and put data points for all these players. Because you're not only missing a bunch, but you have ones way underranked, which is crazy. So that to me is the exciting part, is how many sleepers USC has that are going to really ball out and make some of these rankings eat a lot of crow. Like, to me, Jaden Mayava should be higher than 27. I think Tanuk Hines should be a top 100 player. Maybe I'm a little biased there, but I think, he, as a true freshman receiver, not saying he's Jeremiah Smith, but he's really good. And when he had to be leaned on against Oregon and in the TCU game, he showed out being really good. I think Elijah Page should be certainly in the top 300. Certainly. Wayman Jordan absolutely should be in the top 300. Probably should be higher than that as one of the top backs. Jakeem Stewart certainly should be in the top 300. Like, that's crazy to me. So, I think, like most things in life, and we'll end it with this, it's usually in the middle, right? Like, USC has not done a good enough job of continually churning out elite players at every position, which is why they haven't been in the CFP yet, which is why they finished 9-3 instead of 10-2 or 11-1, because they were right there. I know fans hate hearing it. So close. We're close. A play away. You have two more elite players. Those playaways go away. So I think actually from a coaching perspective, just pure game day coaching, you're kind of getting fairly good results based on the talent rankings. But again, the coaches are responsible for the recruiting, the development, and the retention. And I think, and this is where we'll end it, and it, to me, being more of an exciting thing, I think they figured it out this offseason. I think they really figured out, okay, this is the type of player we want. We're gonna go after Cali kids, right? They didn't do that the first 2-3 years. The 25 class, which half is basically gone, it was like 30% Cali kids. Now this 26 class, a lot of Cali kids. There's a certain type of player they're going after, certain type of position they're prioritizing. I know that fans weren't super excited about the transfer portal haul, but it was a very specific strategy on who they went and addressed. So now it's about developing those guys and retaining those guys. We're going to need to see elite play this season, but then you go into next year and you should have a lot more ranked a lot higher going into 27. When you have Tanuk Hines coming back as a true junior. When you have, this batch of running backs that have gotten some PT, looking at the offensive line, looking at the defense line, obviously Jakeem Stewart, when you look at Jamie Winfield, Luke Wafel. So, anyway, I just thought that was interesting. Only one Trojan. Which side do you sit on? Bad rankings? Or a little telling of USC and why they're at where they're at? Right? They weren't a bad team last year. They just weren't great. The talent matters. The development matters, obviously. So, with these young guys coming up, let's see how this staff develops and retains them. That's going to be the key. So, let me know your thoughts in the comments. We'll see, what happens with this. Obviously, these rankings can change. They always do. But this is what it is right now. January 22nd, 2026. There you go. So hit that like and subscribe button. Like I said, I'll be back later today with some recruiting updates and plenty more coming at you. Appreciate you, family, as always. Fight on.
If you like the show, please take a moment to rate, review, and subscribe. It really does help the show to grow. Thank you for listening.